G'day, friends and fans. Welcome to Tabletop News. I'm your host, the author, David Applegate, author of the books The Boyhood Arcade, Power Games, and Into the Earl's Mound. For you, the patrons and supporters who, who make this channel possible, and of course, I invite you to join them. QR code on the screen. Now, before I begin, I'd like to share out the video. If you just give me a moment. Sorry. Because when I go live on X, it doesn't actually give me a link to share when I create the video. So I can't do it until after I go live. And it's rather annoying, but it's just one of the little quirks. Most people just talk their way through it. Sometimes I'm just lost for words, but usually I tell you it's how to break the how to break the out. The reason why so many people ask you to share and share and share and share is because they're not getting shared. And I know it annoys some people, and maybe I shouldn't ask and let you decide, but I'm letting you decide anyway. And if it annoys you, I'm sorry. But if I guess people need, it hasn't really sunk into a lot of people that if you like the channel, it needs to be shared. Otherwise, it dies very quickly. And I'm struggling. So I have to ask. A lot of people have lots of followers and they still ask. Because people, as soon as you stop asking, the majority stop sharing. That's just the fact. And I wish it was different. I wish, you just hit the button and everybody would be happy. But for some reason, most people don't want to share a video. And I don't understand the reluctance. If you like it, why didn't you click the like? Why didn't you click the share? It's just one of those weird things people can't answer, I think. So nobody just... All right, now I've got the link shared. We shall start with my favorite, the bundle of holding. And of course, they're not paying me to say this, but it is my favorite RPG site after Drive-Through RPG, of course, but still. There's bundle holding, then there's Drive-Through. I know there are other bundle sites, and I can only think of Humble Bumble right now. But this is my favorite. And most of the time, the bundles are very reasonable price. Now, Household is coming to an end in just over 5 days. And it's an RPG of Little Folk. And you get the core books and supplements for $14.95. I mean, these days, if you look at prices, one adventure can cost you as much as $14.95. And if you want to try something completely different, you've got mice. You've got mice in a human home, exploring this amazing world of the early 19th century. And this room is a nation. Each room is a nation unto itself. You play littlings, little folk from European folklore. These miniature beings navigate crises across 5 troubled years, starting at the end of the First Household War. And it's a time of ideological industrial revolution. And the littlings have a lot to overcome. This gives you an entire English language household from basically, I think it was originally Italian. Yeah, I think it was originally Italian in Rome. And it was a successful Kickstarter campaign. And I think make a great addition to anybody's RPG collection. And for $14.95, you get the core rulebook, which gives you it's been 100 years since the master left the house. Then a little folk have returned to reclaim it. And the four folk have a truce. There's a fragile peace. When the family built the house, the little folk scattered to different fates. You have the fairies, Beauty and Grace, the Bogarts, the strongest and most loyal of the little people, the Slagar, outsiders from the far beyond, and the sprites. After the family vanished, the littlings occupied different parts of the house. So you have the core rulebook, everything you need to play the game of Two Little Mice for 320 pages. 320 pages. Okay. Now, living in the house is a practical guide that gives extensive background lore. 208 pages of lore and background, giving you new rooms, new areas, new contacts and equipment, companions, and 8 maps. And of course, Fragile Peace, the momentous era of peace that reshaped the household. You have the High Council. You have it's an expansion that leads you through the you have 24 fates of the littlings. These are ready to play characters with 6 whole adventures with 60 different outlines and detailed timelines. So for $14.95, you're getting pretty much a bargain. You're getting Palladium Fantasy 2nd Edition, one of their most popular. Revived in 2022. This is the 1996 2nd Edition tabletop role-playing game. Pardon me. Starters Edition gives you the core rulebook, 3 fantasy supplements, and 2 more adventures. Now, $17.95 gets you a basic pack, level up, and you get the bonus set. The threshold price is $34.59. This is the entire bonus collection with retail value of an additional $125. So you're getting about a third off, for the third of the price, sorry. But if you pay the minimum, you get the core rulebook. This is the 1996 2nd Edition, and as I said, it was revived. But I don't think it was revised. I just think it was reprinted in 2022. But it went when the 2nd edition came out. Yeah, it was revised in 1996, but it was reprinted in 2022. And of course, when it was revised, it added a whole lot of stuff to it. Sonics, magics. But you get 3 fantasy supplements. The Heart of Magic, which gives you history, magic, secrets, mysteries behind wizarding and spellcasting, as well as a whole bunch of classes. Monsters and Animals gives you basically 100 monsters and nearly 200 real-life animals. Dragons and Gods, as it says, you meet the gods and the dragons of the Wizarding World, for want of a better term, because I actually think Wizarding World, I This is the thing I have a problem with IPs, is sometimes they copyright stuff that's already in popular use, and then because there's nobody to really challenge it. But I think Palladium was the original Wizarding World, but for some reason, they've stopped using it. But the world of Palladium, so be it. Yeah. They started the Megaverse. Palladium, I believe, was the first with Rifts. And that's where you get all your multiverses and multiverses from. But this is actually part of a bigger Palladiumverse. You have Rifts and all sorts of stuff. It expands and expands and expands. It's really, and of course, you have the Western Empire, the Western of Sin. It's another expansion. Noble families, regional information maps, etc. All you need to know in 224 pages for the Western Empire. Now, the Library of Brothel, 168 pages, gives you secrets and avenues of adventures for political intrigue, legendary weapons, and secret guardians, adventure maps, subplots, and more maps. And if you're looking for a new campaign world, this is really detailed. So you would, of course, level up, as I recommend, and you get the source books. Again, this one is also a great fantasy world to build on. Now, 8 Palladium Fantasy source books gives you everything you need for the Wastelands, the Northern Islands, Eastern Territories, and the thing is, you also got Land of the Damned and other add-ons, Mount Ninuro, Hinterlands, Dwarfen Empire, itself 168 pages. This is over 1,584 pages of lore, maps, monsters, ports, vengeful gods. There's basically 8 campaigns. Now, this would retail for $100. Now, of course, you're only getting the digital, but still. Then again, we have the old one, 2nd edition, 1906 edition, 232 pages of an updated adventure source book with more than 50 locations in the Temera Kingdom and the ancient ruins that date back to the old wars. And of course, you've got character classes and more magics and adventures on the high seas, magic and monsters, maps, ships, player classes, skills, characters with multiple classes, towns and cities, notable NPCs, and various adventures. So you got pretty much for $35, you've got, well, let's see, you've got all these monsters. Okay, let's just decide the monsters. You've got campaign, 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 campaign. Actually, 8 campaigns. So there's 8, 9, 10 just in the bonus. 1, 2 there. And the replayability and multiple paths and parallels. So pretty much double everything. So it's pretty good. Palladium. I've always thought Palladium was the superior RPG. It's just that Dungeons and Dragons got there first. And you know how hard it is to knock the first off the list, right? Look how long it took for Warhammer to undermine. Warhammer wasn't knocked off its perch. They undermined themselves for fantasy tabletop. And still, I think Shadowrun was the superior RPG. But again, Mike Pondsmith never gave up. And of course, with the adoption of Cyberpunk 2077 into a video game, it bounced back into the top 10. So, and there was for I think about a year and a half, Pathfinder was outselling D&D. And now, Engine GM guides, of course, it is what it says it is. This is from November 22, publishing Game Master's Help. And there's a lot. For $9.95, you get quite a lot. And it's the entire collection for one price. 501 adventure plots to inspire game masters. Focal point. Guide to running extraordinary sessions. Masks. 1,000 NPCs. And this has been ripped off lots of times. You've seen this. Trust me, this has been yeah. Never underprepared. Get the original. Process of preparing of how to run a game session. And this is for veteran game masters. And quite frankly, let's just go back up to the top. Experienced GMs, leading fields in design, it's engine neutral, and DRM free. So you got for basically one price, you've got 500 adventures for $9.95. What a bargain! Now, Odyssey is a complete guide to campaign management, Unframed, the art of improv, which, of course, you have to be able to do. If you can't improvise, you're going to fall apart. Can't keep flipping through your books. What I'm saying. Now, Torg Cosmos 3. Now, Torg is a very underrated RPG. And in the 80s and 90s, actually, not so much the 80s, I think mid-90s particularly, Torg was actually popular for a while. It's quite an interesting set of dramas. And of course, it's been brought back to life. It's an interesting setting and premise. And it is. It's a cyberpunk-ish. Now, Darkhold is the source book. So, gives you the literal, because it's literally hell on earth. Demons have crushed humanity. World-shattering war has left civilization. And the world's run by a cult. Now, the thing is, I think one of the controversies is how that was set. But it was a successful crowdfunding campaign in June 2020. And I mean, this one has, yeah. You play the heroes in a blood-soaked realm, freedom fighters, criminals, renegade psychics, and even the red demon trying to overcome their evil origins and change the blasted landscape forever. New spells, etc. Pan Pacifica gives you exactly as it says, the source book for the Pan Pacific region. Again, new perks, miracles, materials, and it has deck. Scenarios and soundtrack. You have basically adventures, supplements, and another one. Level up and you get more supplements, more basically missions, a GM screen, map pack, and digital-only set of extras from the crowdfunding campaign, which reference cards. And 6 more. Yeah. So you got 1, 2 supplements packed with missions and maps 1 and 2. Torg economy. It's the Torg Eternity starter kit. You have the core rulebook, drama deck, and scenarios to get you started. And so you have the source book and the booster deck. There's the specialized cards for the Demon Realm of Falco, drama cards. Basically, there's a card mechanic involved. I forget how it all works. I'm sorry. Been a while since I've looked at it, and I don't actually have this bundle in particular. Now, Bracconia is an Italian role-playing system, the Italian spaghetti fantasy. They say it themselves, they're not ashamed of it. They don't think it's a slur. You say you're a fan of spaghetti westerns, they nod. And Trinity Brothers, they're still heroes to this day, even though their last movies really bombed in the West. But when they returned to their roots with Italian dramas, they did quite well for themselves. I think a lot of people they're not really fans of a genre per se. They're fans of they're fans of the fad of the day, and when the wind shifts, they shift with it. They're not fans. You'll watch all the people that will abandon Marvel. But then again, if a product's bad, it won't attract fans either. So it's very hard to judge what's good and bad. But Italian spaghetti fantasy is actually quite good. Now, for $12.95, it's a bargain, and you get the entire pack. And these are well spaced out. You don't have to buy 5 packs a month or a year or a day. They're well spaced out. It's about 2 a week. But there's no maximum or minimum. There's no mass discount or special code. But you do have to be a member. But when you're a member, you have the Wizards Cabinet, and that has all your downloads in it. So although most of your downloads and your updates come through RPG, there's actually a linked account. You link your account to it. I forget all the process you go through. But some of these are only available on their site at the time they're released. So if you see something you like, you pretty much got to grab it, because it's about every 2 years. They don't bring back old ones about every 2 years, because there are only so many, there are only out of the thousands of material that comes out every month, only a small amount ever gets included in the bundles. And it's usually starter packs anyway. So, and you don't see the really big ones put out starter packs. But if you want to play something off the beaten path, if you want something that's different, if you really want to challenge yourself, and let's be frank, a lot of people play these games on their own, for their own amusement and their own enjoyment. There's no shame in that. There's a lot of solo adventures out there now. Used to be, if you said, hey, I'm a solo adventurer, they'd laugh at you. But the challenge, the challenge of yourself, it's like, why do people play chess against themselves? Okay, it's left brain versus right brain, but this is the same thing. And this is an amazing set. I really like it. And $12.95, Bracconia I don't know. I recognize it. It is another Italian role-playing game, and it is Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. It is not a. It is an expansion, and it is set, on Italian culture. Now, you may recognize the titles: The Princess Bride, Pinocchio. They all came from Italy, from one man, and another pop culture icon you've never heard of, Umberto Eco. He wrote a lot of Renaissance epics. The problem is, when you get your Disney and Netflix versions, they don't tell you these things. And I really hate it when Netflix says Netflix original, and then they show you The Princess Bride, because it's actually a remake in the first place. And a lot of people hate the remake. Actually, is it Netflix? I forget who did it. But even the original Princess Bride, I think you'd have to really squint to see the reference. But if you're really into lighthearted, low magic adventures, easy, and you want to run a campaign of calamity and devious backstabbing, I think this is for you. You have the Italian setting of Braconia. And this is, I think, only available here, where you get the complete set, 198 pages with the add-on, the digital lasagna. That's every map and pre-generated characters, virtual tabletop tokens, and all the art, and 3 issues of the Daily Jinx. You don't get that on Drive-Thru RPG, I think. This is from the Kickstarter campaign. Now we have the Macedonian, which is the huge helping of fantasy, giving you puppeteers and other subclasses and races and marionettes and new jobs and spells and equipment and creatures, detailed cities. And topics for the extravaganza, the background. Now, the Empire whacks back. Now, you have a war-themed campaign of maps, characters, antagonists, monsters, and other material in where you have playable races, new backgrounds, an empire, a kingdom and their free cities, new monsters, and 10 military adventures. So 10 adventures which you can adapt for any other setting as well. 10 adventures for $12.95. And of course, the Almanac, giving you adventure hooks, characters, equipment, and monsters and more. And this was a crowdfunding campaign that was successful, October 22. Take the job. Now, when it comes to adventures, you got to start somewhere. 100 Rumors to Hear in a Brothel. Let's face it, from dawn of time, it's happened. For many, you know what I'm talking about. Well, social media hates the topic, but you know the reality. And, you know, most adventurers are in fact indeed lowlifes. Let's face the fact. They loot and they kill. And when they're not killing, they're looting. After all, there is a profession known as thief. What do you think they do? Open doors? Yeah. to places they shouldn't be in to let you in so you can loot and kill. You're murder hobos. And murder hobos take their time off in a brothel, and that's where the adventure hooks come in. Clients want to impress their workers with tales of treasure, strange stories, or interesting anecdotes. All of these can be quite useful to the right adventurer. Here's the thing, coding, of course, it's for any system. It's agnostic. And very low price as well. Now, from adventure hooks to solo adventures. Fallen Haven, a solo adventure for unique systems. Product has been not reviewed or rated. This caught my eye as I was looking for solo adventures. This is the latest in a bunch of them. As you can see, there are other solo adventures in this setting. Now, in this solo adventure, you are playing a dark science fantasy setting. Require the Fallen Haven core book and associated expansions to assist you along the way. And you'll need pen and paper. The story has locations, story points, but the rest is up to you and your imagination. Action to play depends on who and what you see, how you wish to interact. Keep a record of your story as it progresses. And that's what you do. That's what you do. It's a solo adventure. You are creating your own adventure. And it's actually on sale right now, discounted. Now, I know they tell you need, sometimes you think you need the core rule books, but if you understand enough of an RPG and if you understand the terms well enough, if you understand, like dark fantasy, dystopia with magic. But of course, solo dungeoneering has been around since the beginning, almost. I believe a lot of people, when they first got Dungeons and Dragons basic set, and I used to be in a role-playing club, and I knew like lots of people who had the set, all had the same assumption that originally was just that. You bought, it was a game you played on a tabletop against yourself. Because there were at the time other solo adventure books. There were lots of solo adventure books once upon a time. There was a whole series of them. Steve Jackson put out some, and others put out some. I mean, before video games, this is what people did, role play. Or you heard about LARPing. Well, LARPing is old. LARPing and solo adventures. You have, Modern Fantasy D20. That's, yeah. Gives you all the tips for generating random dungeons to explore and heroes all along. Yeah. Playable standard rules, free. Yeah. And again, this is on a discount for less than $1. And finally, we get to me for one Aussie dollary-doo. You can become a member of, well, you can actually join for free, but you could support me for less than a cup of coffee a month. You get access to my material now, or you could buy some of the featured products whatever, we can become one of the members. And now you could actually gift membership to a friend. And I think starting tomorrow, you get 50% off your first month. So there's a bargain on top of a bargain. Of course, if you've got something you want to add, feel free to contact me. But hopefully I'll be bringing you more material next week. But if you've got something... Whoops. Why isn't it showing? What's this? Oh, does Palladium still make riffs? I believe so. I believe all the Palladium products are still available on DriveThruRPG. I'll just have a quick look. DriveThruRPG Palladium. It's coming up. For some reason, chat just suddenly appeared, and it's like, what? There's somebody chatting to me, and I didn't see it. It was like, why didn't I see it? I don't know what's wrong with this. Palladium. Did I spell it wrong? I spelled it wrong. You know, Palladium is actually a real metal, quite valuable and rare. Yes, you can buy the Palladium riffs. It's actually, guess what? Savage Riffs is free. The base source course book is $9. First edition rules and vampires and all the other riffs. Yep, the entire riffs collection is there. There's some of them are actually on special. So yeah, does Palladium still make riffs? Yes, it's on special. There is some modern and there is some fantasy, and there is some slight near future in riffs. Torg, yeah, Torg is near future and slash sort of modern day. I think it's like, yeah, I forget when it doesn't actually say. Sorry, but yeah, Rule by Demons, all of them. I mean, I know it seems like a lot, but when I think you have options, and I think that's all that matters. And that at the end of the day, even if you look at it, it's cheaper to buy bundles from Bundle Holding and Adapt than it is to buy most campaigns from. And I mean, I know I could go through every week just ignoring the Bundle Holding and show you all these other things, but eventually, I just don't. It feels scummy not to include the fact that bundles exist, and that you can save yourself a heap waiting for stuff to go under bundles. And I mean, with riffs, you look at it, 2 years worth of material. I know it's a bit big, 1,500 something pages, I think it comes out to. But I mean, it is a war campaign, and I mean, it covers about a 10-year period. I don't think there's any. I think that most of the new material of riffs is actually fan stuff. So But like I said, there's a lot there. I'm pretty sure that it's just all reprints, but most of the new stuff is fan made. Hey, but I recommend joining my Patreon, and yeah. So thank you for watching. Sorry I missed your chat earlier.